Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. By the way, my name is Cesar Roberto A. Diaganon, and this time I'm gonna teach you some lessons from our subject, GE4, which is Mathematics in the Modern World by Sir Junel C. Campagna. I hope you will learn something from it, and let's do this.
3, go.
So, our topics to be discussed first is what is mathematics? So, there are many mathematics definitions that Sir Junel have covered for us, and I'm gonna point out some 5 definitions. So, first, mathematics is a systematized, organized, and sub-branch of science. So, basically, math and science are tandem. There are topics that mathematics will be tackled in science. Example, liters. In liters, there are many ways to exact liters. When we say 1,000 liters, 1,000 milliliters is equivalent to 1 liter, and in mathematics, 1 liter is equivalent also to 1,000 liters. So mathematics and science are tandems in subjects. And next is the mathematics deals with quantitative facts, relationships, as well as with problems involving space and form. Also, mathematics is a logical study of shape, arrangement, and quantity. So basically, mathematics is the study of all shapes, including triangle, rectangles, or circles, and any quantity forms like quantity, anything that has mass and body. The nature of mathematics. Mathematics is a science of discovery. It is discovery of relationships and the expressions of those relationships in symbolic form, in words, in numbers, in letters, in diagrams, or in diagrams. So basically, when we say science, mathematics is a science of discovery. This discovery is anything that, when we say, example, 100. 100 is a simple words, but in mathematics, 100 is an 1 and 3 digit number. And in letters, example, yung Roman numerals. V is letter form, but in mathematics, V is equivalent to 5. And lastly, mathematics is an intellectual game. Mathematics can be threatened as an intellectual game with its form, rules, and abstract concepts. From these viewpoints, mathematics is mainly a matter of puzzles, paradoxes, and problem solving, a sort of healthy mental health. And that is the types and the definitions of mathematics. Mathematics is a cool subject. Mathematics has its own integrity, its beauty, its structure, and many other features that related to mathematics as an end in it. Mathematics is a science of logical reasoning. It goes without saying that logic is an important factor in mathematics. It governs the pattern of deductive proof through which mathematics is developed. Of course, logic was used in mathematics centuries ago. Mathematics is an abstract science. Mathematical concepts are abstracts in the sense that cannot be seen or felt in the physical world. Next is the patterns in nature. There are 3 types patterns in nature in mathematics. First is the patterns in nature are visible regularities of form found in the natural world. These patterns recur in different contexts and can sometimes be modeled mathematically. So in mathematics, there are patterns that we can see in nature. Maybe we can see this and anything in our house. Example, like this. Examples of patterns in nature. First, a spiral. Spiral is a curved pattern that focuses on a center point, a series of circular shapes that revolve around it. Examples of spirals are pineapples, pine cones, and hurricanes. So basically, spiral is anything that is circle below will go circle like circle pattern. Example, pineapples, pine cones. When we say pine cones, pine cones are trees that are triangular form and has a cone and has a form of cone. So that is example of a spiral. Next is the fractal. A fractal is a detailed pattern that looks similar at any scale and repeats itself over time. A fractal pattern gets more complex as you observe it at all larger scales. Example of fractals in nature are snowflakes, tree branches, lightnings, and ferns. So when we say fractals, this is type of pattern that has a viewpoint or has a endpoint with it. Example like ferns. When we say ferns, there are ferns that can be seen in nature, like in Sapa River. In our river, there are many ferns that can be found within it. Next is the number pattern. Number pattern is a pattern of sequence in a series of numbers. This pattern generally establishes common relationships between all numbers. Example of number patterns are types of number patterns. First is the arithmetic sequence. A sequence is a group of numbers that follows a pattern based on a specific group. An arithmetic sentence involves a sequence of numbers to which the same amount has been added or subtracted. The amount that is added or subtracted from it as the common difference. For example, in a sequence 1, 4, 7, 10. Each number has added 3 in order to derive a succeeding number. The common difference for this sequence is 3. It's like example 1, 4, 7, 10. So the common difference of 1 to 4 is 3. 4 to 7 is 3, and that sequence is of 3. So the next type of number patterns is geometric sequence. Geometric sequence is a list of numbers that are multiplied or divided by the same amount. The amount by which the numbers are multiplied is known as the common ratio. For example, in the sequence 2, 4, 8, 16, 32, each number is multiplied by 2. The number 2 is the common ratio for this geometric sequence. Example, 2 times 2 is equals to 4, and 4 times 2 is equals to 8, and 8 times 2 is equals to 16, and 16 times 2 is equals to 22. So, example of that is the number 2 is common ratio of a geometric sequence, and has been multiplied by 2. Next is the triangular numbers. Triangular numbers are the numbers in a sequence that referred as a term. The term of triangular sequence are related to the number of dots needed to create a triangle. You could begin forming a triangle with 3 dots, 1 on top, 2 at the bottom. The following rows have 5 dots, the total of 15 dots. Therefore, the triangular sequence begins in 1, 3, 6, 10, and 15. Fibonacci sequence. Fibonacci sequence is a set of numbers that starts with 1 and 0, followed by a 1, using the best of the third of each number, called Fibonacci number, is equal to the sum of the preceding two numbers. Fibonacci number sequence thus is 0, 1, 1, 2, 3, 5, 8, and 13. Example of that is this. 0 is as can say earlier, it should be start with 0. From 1, 1 plus 1 is equals to 2. Then 2 plus 1 is equals to 3. 3 plus 2 is equals to 5. And example of that's what we call Fibonacci sequence. The adding of two preceding numbers is equals to the next number. Also, the Fibonacci sequence is named for Leonardo Fibonacci, born in 1170 in Pisa, Italy. Fibonacci introduced Hindu-Arabic numerals to Europeans with the publication of his books Liber Abbasi in 1202. He also introduced the Fibonacci sequence, which already known as the Indian mathematics. Last is the golden ratio. The golden ratio is a symbol of Greek letter phi. That number is a special number approximately equal to 1.618. It occurs many times in geometry, art, architecture, and other areas. To find the golden ratio when we divide the line into two parts so that the long part is divided by a short part and also equal to the whole length divided by the long part. Golden ratio, closely related to Fibonacci sequence. The golden ratio describes a perfectly symmetrical relationship between two proportions, approximately equal to 1:161 ratio. The golden ratio can be illustrated as a golden triangle. The golden ratio is a common mathematical ratio found in nature, which can be used to create pleasing, organic-looking composition in your design projects or artwork. It's also known as the golden mean, the golden section, or the Greek letter phi. And that is my video. I hope you will learn something from it, and thank you and God bless.
Good day, everyone. My name is Cyril B. Bayanon, and I'm going to report at Data Management Week 4 to 5. What is data? Data came into different forms and from different sources. You read them in a daily newspaper, hear them over a radio, see them on television, and find them on internet. We have great quantities of data related to sports, business, education, traffic law enforcement, and hundreds of some other human activities. These vast data are made available to assist us in our decision making. These data are not properly managed, analyzed, everything will be meaningless and avoid or lead us to false, unreliable information. Descriptive statistics. Descriptive statistics are the numbers that are used to summarize described data. The word data refers to information that has been collected from experience, a survey, a historical record, and etc. Inferential statistics. The sample is a set of data taken from population to represent the population. Probability distribution, hypothesis testing, correlation testing, and regression analysis all fall under the category of inferential statistics. What is variable? A variable is a characteristic of interest about the object under investigation that can take a different possible outcome, such as age, hair color, height, weight, and religious references. Summary of types of variable. There are two kinds of variable. First is qualitative variables and second is quantitative variables. Qualitative variables are variables that can be replaced into distinct categories according to some characteristic or attribute. For example, brand of PC, marital status, and hair color. Quantitative variables are numerical, can be ordered or ranked. For example, the variable age is a numerical and the people can be ranked according to their age. For example of quantitative variables are height, weight, and body temperatures. Quantitative variables can be further classified into two groups, discrete and continuous. Discrete variables can be assigned a value such as 0, 1, 2, and 3, and are said to be accountable. For example, children in a family struck on a golf hole TV set on continuous variable. On the other hand, can assume an infinite number of the value on interval between any two specific values. For example, the amount of income tax paid, weight of student, yearly rainfall, and temp. There are two kinds of variable. First is numeric, second is categorical. In numeric, they are continuous and discrete. For example of continuous is the length of the part of the date and the time of the payment is received. In discrete, for example, is the number of students present, the number of heads when flipping 3 coins. And categorical. A categorical, there are 4 types of categorical. First is a nominal level, second is ordinal level, and third is interval level, and fourth is the ratio level. Nominal level is the lowest of level of data measurement, and ordinal level is the higher than nominal level, and interval level is the second and the highest of the level of measurement, and the ratio is the highest level of data measurement. Textual presentation of data. Data can be represented using a paragraph or a sentence. It involves enumerating important characteristics, emphasizing significant figures, and identifying important features of the data. Tabular presentation. In the process of tabular presentation is data. There is organized in the row in the columns. This process is known as tabular presentation. The method used is known as tabularization, presenting data in the form of the row and the column in the table. Graphical presentation of data. There are 4 types of graphical presentation. First is the bar graph. Bar graph is a consists of bar either vertical or horizontal, and is usually constructed for comparative purpose. Line graph is to show the relationship between two or more set of quantities. It may show the relationship between two variables. It's the best used to establish trends. Pie chart is used to represent quantities that makes up a whole. It is a circular diagram cut into subdivisions, and the slice of the pie must be drawn a proportion of different value of the items. The last is ogive. Ogive is a line graph where the base, the class boundaries, and the height are the less than CF for the less than ogive and the greater than CF for the greater than ogive. Measure of central tendency applies to any measure that reflects a typical or frequent response. Mode, the number that appears most often. Median, the value whose occurrence is lie in the middle of the set of numbers, half above and half below. Mean, arithmetic average of a set of the numbers. Measures of dispersion. There are 4 types of measures dispersions. First, range. Second is variance. Third is mean deviations. The last is standard deviations. First is range. Is the simplest and the easiest to compute among the measures of dispersions, but it's also the most unstable and the most unreliable measure because it can easily be affected by the extreme values. Second is the variance. It's a average of the squared deviations of values about the arithmetic mean. Third is the mean deviation. It's the statistically measure of the average deviation of the value from the mean in the sample. It's calculated first by finding the average of observation. The difference of each observation from the mean then is determined. The last is a standard deviation. It's the square root from the variance. It's the most unreliable measure of variability expressed in the same units as a raw data, unlike the variance which express the squared units. Is the measure of relative position. They have 2 types of measure of relative position. First is percentile ranks. Second is standard scores. Percentile rank is a percentage of score that fall at the above or given scores. Standard scores are deprived scores based on how far the row score from the reference point in the term of standard deviation unit. They have z-scores and t-scores and stain. The normal distribution is a continuous probability distribution that is symmetrical on both sides of the mean, so the right side of the center is the mirror image of the left side. The area under the normal distribution curve represents probability, and the total area under the curve sums to 1. If you see the normal curves by the mean, 68% of the top and 95% the middle, and the lowest is 99%. Correlation in linear regression. Statistics also concern determining whether a relationship exists between two or more variables. For example, an educator might be interested in determining whether the teaching strategy had caused the improvement of the performance of the student. The scatter plot is a visual way to describe nature of the relationship between the variables. It's a graph of the ordered pairs x and y of the numbers consisting of dependent variable x and the dependent variable y. Correlation. The measure of degree of correlation is known as correlation coefficient. If there is a perfect positive linear relationship between the variables, the value of r is equal to +1. For the perfect negative linear relationship between the variables, the value of r is equal to -1. When there is no linear relationship that exists between the variables, the value of r is equal to 0. Correlation and quotients. If the two variables have a significant relationship, then any following possible relationship exists between them. There's a direct cause and effect relationship that the variables that x cause y. There's a reverse cause and effect relationship between the variables. It's y cause x. The relationship between variables may be caused by the third variable. There may be complexity relationship among many variables. The relationship may be coincidental. Regression analysis is the process of formulating a mathematical model that can be used to predict determine one variable by another variables. This is the end of our discussion, and thank you for watching.